Does Final Fantasy 16 even want to be a video game?
What? Playing for about 4 hours, although played a. What does that say? Oh, generous interpretation. What I did with the time, I fought a few all gigantic things to boot, but mostly I've watched. Well, it's a Final Fantasy game. All of them are basically movies. Like that's the point. If you're not playing a Final Fantasy game expecting an in-depth story, you're playing the wrong game. Like almost every Final Fantasy game has had a really robust story. There's going to be a ton of cutscenes, and you're gonna, if you're skipping all the cutscenes, then you're missing most of the game.
I've played about 4 hours of Final Fantasy 16, although played is a generous interpretation for what I did with that time. I fought a few things, all gigantic things to.
That's like getting mad that you're playing a Telltale game and you're not having much gameplay. Like the point is to have a story like that. Like it's going to be a ton of cutscenes when you're. That's what I expect from a Final Fantasy game, like a mainline title.
To boot, but I have mostly watched and watched and watched and listened and never enjoyed. Well,
if you're not enjoying it, it's not for you.
I mean, I think that. I mean, if you
like not liking it is one thing. Okay, it's clearly not a game for you. But being disingenuous and saying, "Oh, it's a bad game because of this," it's like, no, it's a bad game for you because you don't want a story game. You just want a hack and slash, I guess, that you can just hop in and start playing.
So you don't like the story, bro? Gaming journalists need a reality check, bro. Here's the thing. Is like I've got no problem with somebody saying that they don't like the game, and like I can even understand why somebody would say that Final Fantasy 16. Like I personally think it's a 9.5 out of 10 game, and like I think this is kind of like what I said.
From what I've seen, like 8 and 9 is probably where I'd put it. 8 or 9. I don't have a PS5, so I can't actually play it. So it'll probably be a year or so until it comes to PC that I actually get to play it.
About Elden Ring to an example, to an extent, like whenever somebody comes in and they play a new game, the beginning experience needs to be absolutely fucking amazing. And one issue that I think Final Fantasy 16 has is that the game gets better and better and better over time. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that it starts from a pretty low point.
Yeah.
And like I realize this whenever
I actually think you'll probably, from what I have watched, if you play the demo first, you'll probably like the game overall better. Because that demo gets you right in it with everything unlocked. So you can actually see where you'll be after a couple hours of playing. Well, at the beginning, you've basically got nothing. At the very beginning of the game, I think all you really got is auto attack for the most part.
Whenever I was doing the dungeons, or sorry, doing like the first bosses, most of the time, like you're spending a lot of the time just auto attacking, right? You're just attacking.
Yeah, that's what I was watching.
There's not a lot of combos that you can do because you don't really have anything unlocked. So I think that you spend too much time without things unlocked. Like if you got everything unlocked in half the time that you did, I think that would be better for the game. Like that's really the way I feel about it. So like, and again, I think that this is something that, and can you blame somebody? This is the thing, right? Can you blame somebody for feeling like the game isn't super exciting if the beginning of it is boring? Because like you can tell people like, I don't like the idea that you have to play a game a certain amount of time to like enjoy it. The game should be fun from day one.
Yeah.
It should be fun from level 1. Like as soon as
they're not
you start
enjoying
playing
it,
the game, you should be having fun.
Weapons not a game for them.
Don't
That's
feel
fine.
very rewarding. Well, it's mainly a story action combat game. Like that's mainly what it is. It's not really about gear. It's not about some fucking like leveling up stats or anything like that. It's just about action combat and the story and it looking cool. That's what
the story is
really
a big part of the game.
So if you go into it expecting like deep character customization, you're not going to be happy. The game's fun from hour 0. I keep forgetting the game has multiple icon abilities you can use. The game's fun from hour 0. I think it's fun, but I can see why somebody else would think it's not. Does that make sense? 4 hours is very low. I disagree. I think that you should not expect somebody to invest 4 hours into a game and then tell them it gets good on hour 7. Like, the truth is that there are a lot of forms of media and entertainment
that's quite a
out there.
while.
You should not have to wait an arbitrary period of time to enjoy yourself inside.
Yeah, 4 hours is probably, if you're not enjoying a game before or within that 4 hours, it's not a game for you. You're probably not going to enjoy the rest of the game. It's like saying, "Oh, the show gets good on episode 9." It's like that's a lot of time you gotta watch stuff that's not good. Like it's totally valid to not be having a good time. And if you're playing Final Fantasy and you're not liking the story, you're skipping all the story parts. Like it's probably not a game for you.
Side of a game. So yeah, is that for playing? You should be hooked by then. Yeah, exactly. Same with TV shows. Yep, definitely. But for a review, I do think that, like, again, offering a review of a game without playing through the whole game, I feel is very disingenuous.
Yeah.
I feel like you could offer out an impression of the game, but, like, to review the game.
I mean, as long as they say, "Hey, I only played 4 hours of this game because I wasn't feeling it. This is my experience for the 4 hours I played." It's like, okay, fine. But saying it's a full-on review after just playing the start of the game is bullshit.
Bro, no. Because you didn't play the game. You played this much of the game.
You just tried it out.
So talk about this much. Talk about it all you want. That's important. But don't go and talk about this and then fucking expand it into this. So yeah, I really don't like that shit. It seems to be contextualized around 4 hours. Yeah, you need to contextualize it around the fact that you only played it for 4 hours. Their feelings got in the way of professionalism? Yeah, that's what it is. You make a good game journalist, though? Well, I try to give games a fair shake. I feel like I am very critical about games. And I am also...
I think the problem is they're trying to pump out 4 or 5 of these articles a day, and they don't have time to invest into a game. So their reviews are kind of ass.
Open-minded. So I do think that every single game that I have played through, I think that I have accurately judged its quality. It's didn't like the movie The Shining, nothing made sense. It stopped watching halfway through. Yeah, and well, that's the thing, right? Is like that feedback is valuable and it's important, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a complete review. Start the reviewer, further part of the story with strong gameplay. Would need to do how-to combat before starting. Maybe that's too much. I think if they just taught it to you earlier, but just ignore these articles, better give them attention. Yeah, definitely. And slow and indulgent often resents you for trying to play it. What the fuck, bro? Like, this is the problem with, like, you know what the real problem with game journalism is? The problem is that these gaming journalists have to write 10 articles a day. So
exactly.
You have to write 10 articles a day about 7 different video games, and everybody expects you to play each game for 20 hours. Well, you're never going to be able to do that. So what they do is they cut corners. They don't fully review the game. They don't fully
100%.
look into all of the nuances of it. And because of that, they fall short and they're not able to adequately review the game in a complete way. And that's why you have people like, I'll give a shout out, like this guy right here. This guy reviews games after he 100%s the game.
Yeah, there's a couple people that do that where they do 100%,
like
grab all the achievements and everything. The completionist is who I used to watch.
And like you've got people like SkillUp. I think SkillUp also reviews games.
He does good reviews.
Now, people might not have agreed with his review on Final Fantasy 16, but really they didn't agree with the weighting of his values in that in Final Fantasy 16 review. Because I think that if you objectively look at every single thing that he stated in the review, I feel like most of them are true. It's just that I don't care about them as much as he does, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like there are a lot of people out there that...
Yeah, if someone's rating an aspect of the game you just never interact with because you don't care about it, like that doesn't really matter to you.
You know, they do a great job doing reviews. But the problem is like these gaming journalists feel like they have to always keep pumping out these reviews all the time. They have to be the first one to get a review out. And
Yeah, they got to be the first one to get it out, and they've got to say, "Oh, this is a complete review. This is the fully in depth, the full thing," and just to get those clicks. Because if they say, "Oh, here's my partial review," because I only played for 2 hours, they're not going to get the clicks.
First doesn't mean that you're the best. Oftentimes, it's first is the worst.
Yeah.
It's like the review is incomplete, it's rushed, it's not well thought out, and it's really a lot better off to like, you know, like listen to a game, listen to like a review for the game, like maybe a month or two after it came out, and like really kind of have time to let it simmer, play
Yeah, that
through
makes way
it,
more
you know,
sense.
enjoy the game, think about it, and then write how you feel
Someone's
about it.
really put the time in and give
see
you
what I'm
a
saying?
proper review.
Finishing first suck. Yeah, for sure. They're just playing the game of journalism. Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really good
And
insight.
that's
I like that a lot. Yeah, they're not playing the game.
Click the right spot. That's absolutely what you should. If you're not sure you should buy a game, like if it's not a game that comes out and you're like, "Oh, I want that game. I'm gonna get it right now." It's like, should I get the game? Wait a month. Wait a month and see if you still want it, and then you can watch some proper reviews on it, and then decide if it's okay. Yeah, everyone loves this game. The ratings are really high. I've seen all these videos of people saying the game's great. It's like, okay, now you can get it and not worry that you're going to get something that's just garbage. So if it's something that you're not sure about, it's like, I don't know, it's a lot of money, I don't really want to buy a game I'm not going to like, then don't buy it right away. Give it some time. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. It'll still be there. Just give it some time and make sure it's something that's good before you buy it then. But if it's a game like Diablo 4, it's like, oh, I'm going to play that even if it's shit because I fucking love Diablo. Okay, buy it right away. Because you're going to play it anyway. And the reviews don't matter.
They're playing the game of journalism. Why they say a serve an opinion so you can judge for yourself, like bad music. Exactly, yeah. And like, I think that's what's also important is like just like expressing what you value so people can contextualize what you are rating and why you're rating it that way.